Welcome to Patty's Aquatics. My name is Adam, and welcome to the fish room. So today what I got for you guys is a review video, a product review. It's something I've had in my fish room for almost 3 months now. It's probably one of the longest products I've actually used before I've done a video on, and that is this light from LuminPacific. It is the Lumin Slim Sky. It's a pretty cool light, and like I said, I've had it in this fish room for about 3 months. I've had it on my puffer tank. And I actually have another one on another set of tanks too, which I'll show you in this video. So what I'm going to do today is really, I'm going to show you the light. I'm going to show you really how it's constructed, what I think about it, my honest opinion. I'm going to show you how the controller works. We're going to go through all of that. So with that, let's turn this camera around and get going. All right, so like I said, that light is on this tank here, my puffer tank with my puffer butthead. The plants are doing great with this light. I'm really loving the different color spectrums and intensity and some of the features, which I'll go all over in this video. But first, let's take a closer look at this light, and I can show you it a little better. First off, this is the light here itself. The construction of it is just awesome. Like I said, taking it directly out of the box, this is one of the first lights that it has. It's made of all alloy. And it's very durable. It's nothing that's going to get broken very easily, and I love that about lights. And to top it off, it's waterproof. Cord, it's a decent sized cord. As you can see, it goes all the way up to my outlet here. It does have a receiver, excuse the bumpiness, on it. This we'll go over in a little bit, and I'll explain the importance of this. And then it also comes with a remote control, which I have command stripped to the wall, so it's easier for me, which again, I'll show you why. And then like I told you, I had 2 of these. I also have one that's up on top, both of these tanks, that's powering and lighting these 2 tanks here, which are my 2 10-gallon fry tanks. And it's doing really good up there as well. Now, operation of this light. So let's go to the remote here. You're going to want to set the time. So obviously you hit the clock button, and that's going to bring you up to the clock up here, which is the 24-hour time, like military time. You're going to set your hours by setting up and down to the hour it is. Hit the clock button again. That'll bring you to the minute. You set it to the minute it is. Hit clock again. And then your local time will be stored within the remote. Now, that's a very important part of this light if you're going to be setting any type of 24/7 feature in here, which I'll show you, is you want to put your local time in there to be able to do that. Now for the timer, we have a sunrise and a sunset. If you hit timer, it's going to bring you to there. Same thing with the setting. You're going to set the time that you want the your light to start at, then hit timer again, and it'll bring you to the minutes. And then when you hit it again, it jumps you over to the sunset. So that's the time that you're going to want your light to turn off at. Again, settings up and down to adjust that hour time. Hit the timer again for the minute. And when you hit it again, it's set. Now, one thing I need to make very clear with this is that you need to make sure that that sensor that I showed you on the cord, sorry, I'm trying to get it right now, this ring right here, it is pointing at it. I have found that I need to have it real close. That is a major reason why I've had issues with this light in the very beginning. Not because of the light itself, it was because I was setting the timer for this, but it wasn't sticking into my light, and my light was staying on 24/7. It wasn't until quite a while of figuring it out and playing around with it that I needed to make sure that this sensor was right by it. So if you put a time and a timer in this and change your intensities, which I'll show you yet, without having it by the receiver, it's just going to put it in the remote and it's not going to save it in the light. You need to make sure that you have the receiver very close or pointing directly at it in order for it to save. Otherwise it won't. So like I said, I run this remote for both these tanks, for both these lights. So how do I do that? Like I said, I can sit here and change everything for this right here, and it'll be saved in this light. And then I can bring the receiver for this other tank over here, and change it, and then it'll be saved in that light. So this remote is only basically a vessel to change the settings into your lights. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that's in there no matter what. You have to put the receiver by it in order to change it. So I just want to make that be known, because that was the biggest problem I had with this light in the beginning, was figuring out why I couldn't get it to set. It's very easy and straightforward in my opinion. I just didn't understand what was wrong with it, and that's how I got the second light. I was working with LuminPacific, and I really thought I had a bum light, and they sent me a second one, and it was doing the same thing. It wasn't until I tinkered around a little more that I finally figured it out. Like, duh. See, usually when you have remote controls, you can be within the vicinity pointing near that direction and it works. And I was assuming that's what was going on. But like I said, what I found is you need to have that receiver right by the remote to properly work, in my opinion. At least that's how I do it, so I make sure it works now. Now, the other settings on here, obviously, you have the different intensities of light spectrums. You have your whites, your blues, your greens, and your reds. You can adjust them up and down however you want and whatever pattern you want. Now, here's the day and night mode. Now, this is very important if you're going to be using it for your timer mode. Clicking it once, well, there we're going to be on night mode now. Night mode default is at 10% blue light. You can change that to whatever you like. If you want to put it at no light at all, completely black, you turn the blue all the way off till there's nothing there. So when you get in night mode, you basically change it to whatever spectrum and intensity that you want, and then that'll save, as long as you got, like I said, you got that receiver again by the remote to set it. And then back, now we're into day mode. Day mode, same thing. You change it to whatever you like. If you wanted a 100% white and nothing else, that's what you set it at, and it'll save. And then when the light comes on and off, that's what it'll stay at, because that's the day and night mode that is saved within the remote control that you save on your light. Now they have different spectrums on here as well. They have a fish one and a plant one. I don't use them, but they are nice little straightforward ones. If you don't really want to tinker around with different lighting spectrums, they have that on there for you. Now, another feature we'll skip down to here is the all max. By hitting that, it'll put all the light spectrums at 100% for you. If you want intense light, that'll do that for you. Now, another cool feature is this thunder mode. By hitting that, it actually creates a thunder kind of lightning look within your aquarium. It's pretty cool. I don't know practical wise where that would really come into effect to be able to be used, but it is a cool feature if it's something that someone is looking for. So that is the remote control. Let's go back to the light a little bit. So that's pretty much that LuminPacific light. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool light. Like I said, I really dig the construction of it. I think it's really sturdy and reliable. Like I said, I've been testing it and using it for 3 months. I'm really liking it. Like, I like the variety of different light spectrums. I know a lot of lights have those nowadays, but it's really cool. The remote control, not a huge fan of remote controls. I prefer an app. But I know there are people out there that like remote controls, and it's not a bad thing. Like I said, I have it command stripped to my wall there, like I showed you guys, because it's really convenient for me operating those 2 lights. So like I said, that's a cool thing too. If you have more than one of these lights, you really only need one controller that you can operate all of them with. So you don't need to have 10 billion of them. So that is a plus. But overall, I think it's a really cool light. I definitely would get another one. I've had 0 issues, like I said, minus the initial confusion of not understanding why I couldn't get the timer to work. Like I said, again, to reiterate, make sure you have that sensor by your remote control when you are setting your timer in there, your local time, and anything that you do on the remote control, because that's going to save it into your light. Just randomly hitting buttons and changing things on your remote control without it hitting that sensor and being directed at that sensor is going to save nothing into your light, and it's only going to be on the remote control. But like I said, overall, it's a very good light. I definitely think it's a cool light to be able to go out and try. It's affordable. I will put the link in the description of the video. I believe it's an Amazon link. Go check that out. I know they're making some other lights too. So they're going to start to get into the aquarium lighting hobby here, and I think that's cool. It's always nice to have multiple companies get in the mix here because it gives hobbyists like us other options to find lighting sources and different things that we may interest us compared to the stuff that's out there now. So like I said, in the description of the video, I will have the link to this video. Go check them out. It is, like I said, a cool light, and I highly recommend it. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider hitting that subscribe button if you liked the video. It'd be greatly appreciated, and I hope to see you again next time here at Patty's Aquatics.